Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I call to order this December 7, 2021 meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Greater Dayton Regional Transit Authority. Will all persons please rise and recite with me the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Will the Secretary please call the roll of board members?
Yes, sir. Mr. Williamson.
Here.
Mr. Lumpkin.
Here.
Mr. Corrado.
Here.
Mr. Fullingham.
Here.
Ms. Harrison.
Present.
Ms. Byrd.
Here.
Ms. Howard. Ms. Matthews Simpson. Mr. Weckerser.
Here.
Thank you. We have 7 of 9.
Thank you. The roll having been called, the chair declares that a quorum is present. The bylaws of the Greater Dayton Regional Transit Authority require that prior to a meeting of the Board of Trustees, the agenda for the meeting be approved by the board. Prior to today's meeting, an agenda and then a revised agenda were presented to the board members for their review. I'll first of all ask, have all members had an opportunity to view the revised agenda? I have all positive nods. So the revised agenda having been presented to and reviewed by all board members prior to today's meeting, are there any requested changes or corrections to the revised agenda or objections to its approval? Hearing none, the chair will declare the revised agenda approved as presented. Also prior to today's meeting, the minutes of the November 4, 2021 board meeting were presented for review to all board members. Does any board member request a reading of the minutes or have any requested changes or corrections to the minutes or objections to their approval? Hearing none, the chair will declare the minutes of the November 4, 2021 board meeting approved as presented. Okay, we'll turn then to our committee reports. First up is Finance Personnel Committee. Mr. Lumpkin for Ms. Matthews-Stenson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance Personnel Planning Committee held a meeting on November 16th, and as a result of that meeting, there are 4 action items for the board's consideration. First up is action item number 2, adoption of fiscal year 2022 operating and capital budgets. Greater Dayton RTA's total operating revenues for 2022 are projected at $76.7 million, while the total operating expenses are projected at $73.5 million. The budget reflects a gain of $3.1 million before local capital charges and a gain of $58,000 after local capital charges. The positive result is tied to FTA CARES Act funding and continued support of the RTA during the national health crisis. Staff continues to hold some positions open and will monitor costs while working through national health crisis economic challenges. Regarding the capital budget, expenditures for 2022 are projected at $42.9 million, with $7.8 million or 18% funded by RTA. Capital projects include categories of electric system infrastructure, revenue, vehicles and equipment, transit hubs, and facilities improvement and equipment, technology, amenities, and others. All projects must follow FTA procurement rules and be approved by the Board of Trustees for individual projects over $100,000 or the Chief Executive Officer for projects under $100,000. This ensures the board has second level of approval in addition to approving the overall capital budget each year. Mr. Rosinski and Ms. Stanforth presented the budget at our meeting, and the supporting information is included in your packet today. They are both here today if anyone has any questions at this time. Hearing none, based upon the recommendations of the committee, I move that the Board of Trustees approve the 2022 operating and capital budgets. This approval allows the Secretary Treasurer to file the appropriate documents with Montgomery County Auditor and receive a certificate authorizing 2022 expenditures.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion has been made and properly seconded. Is there any more discussion, questions, or comments from the board? Hearing none, I will ask All board members in favor of the motion to please signify by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The vote having been taken, the motion is approved. Action item number 2 is adopted.
Action item number 3, Resolution 2021-12-1, Fiscal Year 2022 Annual Appropriations. Board Trustees' adoption of the fiscal year 2022 operating and capital budget establishes budget limits for the upcoming year. Trustees' approval of Resolution number 2021-12-1 will appropriate the needed funds to carry out the activities approved by the budget documents. Ms. Stanforth presented this item at our meeting, and supporting documents are included in today's board package. Mayor is available for any questions that you might have at this time. Hearing none, based upon the recommendation of the committee, I move that the Board of Trustees approve Resolution 2021-12-1, Fiscal Year 2022 Annual Appropriations.
Second.
Motion has been properly made and seconded. Is there any more discussion, questions, or comments from the board? Hearing none, I will ask all those board members in favor of the motion to please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? Vote having been taken, the motion carries. Action item number 3 is adopted.
Action item number 4, 2022 Board and Committee meeting dates. As set forth by the Greater Dayton RTA bylaws, the Board of Trustees meeting dates occur on the first Tuesday of each month. The Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committee's meetings dates typically occur on the third Tuesday of each month. The Investment Advisory Committee meets quarterly on the third Thursday during the months of January, April, July, and October. On an infrequent basis, it is necessary to change regularly scheduled meeting dates. After a comprehensive review of the planned activities, agency activities, the attached 2022 Board Committee meeting dates are recommended for the approval by the Board of Trustees. Ms. Stanforth presented this item at the meeting, and she's available to answer any questions you might have at this time. Hearing none, based upon the recommendations of the committee, I move that the Board of Trustees approve the proposed 2022 Board of Committee meeting dates.
Second.
The action item has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion, questions, or comment from the board? Hearing none, I will ask those members of the board in favor of the motion to please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign? Any abstentions? Vote having been taken, the motion carries, and action item number 4 is adopted.
Action item number 5, Revised Human Resources Policy number 3, Administrative Staff Employees Leave. This policy provides requirement related to administrative staff employees leave, including earned time off, extended personal illness, military leave, jury duty, and bereavement. The policy has been updated to reflect the changes within the category earned time off and extended personal illness. Mr. Rosinski presented this action item at our meeting. He's available to answer any questions at this time. Hearing none, based upon the recommendations of the committee, I move that the Board of Trustees approve the revised Human Resources Policy number 3, Administrative Staff Employees Leave.
Second.
Motion has been properly made and seconded. Is there any further discussion, questions, or comments from the board? Hearing none, I will ask all board members in favor of the motion to please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Action item number 5 is approved and adopted.
Mr. Chairman, other items to mention, Ms. Stanforth reported the year-to-date September 2021 indicates a gain of $2.7 million after capital gains and GASB charges. The positive result will allow for a smoother economic recovery post-COVID. It's also helping to restore the RTA's unrestricted net position shortfall, which was caused by the state pension system funding liability. Passengers' fares are 12% lower than last year and 17% lower than current year budget as a result of COVID. Federal assistance includes CARES Act funding, which allows the RTA to provide comprehensive service and provide a set-aside sales tax for future operations. Total revenues are $4.4 million below budget due to higher than expected sales tax offset by lower passenger revenues and assistance from both state and federal governments. The expenses are $6.8 million lower than budget. Employee wages and fringe benefits, contract services, diesel fuel, and materials and supplies are the major contributors. On a monthly basis, we're consistently spending less than budget in these categories. After 7 months of sales tax receipts for 2021, we were up $3.83 million over 2020. And that will conclude my report.
Thank you, John. Next up is the Planning Committee report. And I will be giving that report in Ms. Howard's absence. The Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting on November 16, and while we do not have any action items to bring before the board, there are some important updates to provide. At the committee meeting, Brandon Polachicchio provided a summary document of recent activities in the Customer and Business Development Department was provided. Updates to the TAP Pay project were shared. As of November 1, marked the start of RTA buses only accepting TAP Pay. RTA has been preparing and communicating for over a year for the exclusive use of TAP Pay for fares. To prepare riders for the transition, this past summer signage was installed on every fare box, alerting riders that the fare box will be retired soon. As of the end of October, only 7% of riders were still using cash, 93% were using TAP Pay. Mr. Polachicchio also shared that this month, customers are able to enjoy a trip with Santa aboard RTA's holiday bus. The holiday bus debuted in the Dayton Children's Parade in downtown Dayton the day after Thanksgiving. This year's bus includes Santa, his elves, sleigh, gifts, and the text, "Santa's sleigh is at RTA. Join our jolly team." The bus will rotate along routes throughout the system through January 1 of 2022. During their ride, customers can visit Santa at Santa's bus stop and receive a special holiday mask. In addition, customers will be greeted with holiday music and Christmas decor when entering the bus, giving them a special RTA holiday experience. This concludes Ms. Howard's report, and unless there are any questions or comments, she's not here to answer them, so we'll just let you ask them the next time. So, all right. Again, pursuant to the revised agenda, because there may be action that is required by the board back in regular session, we're going to entertain a request for executive session for the reasons of discussing collective bargaining agreements and possible threatened or pending litigation. That is the request, and I think I need then for this secretary to, do we need a second on this? Chris?
I second.
Need a motion and a second.
Motion and second. So it's not just a request, it's a motion. Motion to convene to executive session, second by, was that Ms. Hurd? Madam Secretary, would you read the roll?
Yes, sir. Mr. Wickinson.
Yes.
Mr. Lofton.
Yes.
Mr. Corrado.
Yes.
Mr. Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Ms. Hairston.
Yes.
Ms. Hurd.
Yes.
And Mr. Wexler.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Okay. We will now retire to executive session, and I would remind the folks in the room that we will reconvene into regular session and conduct further business when we return. It is unanimous, so the motion to reconvene is approved, and we are back in regular session. Okay, that brings up, next on the revised agenda is new business. And there are 2 action items. The first is the approval of the Dayton Police contract. And before going over any sort of motion for approval of that, I'd turn to Mr. Caldwell and see if he has any comments regarding this action item.
Let's just start out by explaining the contract and what you know, what you want to share, and then Dave will read the motion.
Right.
Okay. The current contract for the Dayton Police Services expired December 31st, 2021. Renewing the contract obviously gives us an opportunity to continue to promote safety down there at Right Stop Plaza as well as the surrounding areas. With the new contract, the police will continue to respond to altercations, assaults, fair disputes, and different things of that nature in and around this area as well.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. As Roland says, the current contract for Dayton Police Services at Right Stop Plaza expires December 31st, just a few more weeks. A proposed contract with the Dayton Police will allow RTA to continue promoting the safety operations in and around Right Stop Plaza. Dayton police officers will continue to provide general police services and respond to altercations, fair disputes, assaults, and other breaches of the peace that may occur on or around Right Stop Plaza and the immediate area up to Jefferson and 2nd Streets. A coverage chart was provided to all board members in the packet of materials that was made available today. Therefore, it is not only the Chief Executive Officer's recommendation, but I hereby move that a contract be awarded to the City of Dayton, Dayton Police for security services for the base year 2022, and that's January 1 through December 31, 2022, in an amount not to exceed a maximum aggregate of $324,435. Then option year 1 for $330,924, and option year 2 for $337,542, plus an aggregate 10% contingency for the 3-year period in an amount of $99,290, for a grand total of $1,092,191. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Lumpkin. Motion has been properly made and seconded. Any further discussion, questions, or comments from the board? Hearing none, I'll ask all members of the board in favor of the motion to please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? Vote having been made and unanimous approval, the motion is carried, and new business item number 1, the approval of the Dayton Police contract, is approved and adopted. Okay. New business item number 2 is the AFSCME Local 101 Collective Bargaining Agreement Revision. In late October 2020, the Greater Dayton Regional Transit Authority reached a tentative agreement with the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Ohio Council 8 Local 101, which represents approximately 60 RTA team members, for a 3-year renewal labor agreement. The membership ratified the agreement at its November 4, 2020 meeting. The RTA Board of Trustees voted at our November 10, 2020 meeting to accept the 3-year agreement. The new agreement made significant progress in moving towards a living wage. The 5 current pay grades were reduced to 3, with each grade containing a lead option, which pays 50 cents an hour more. Starting pay for each grade was increased and ranged from $13 to $15. Steps in the pay grades were reduced to 7. With the rapidly changing employment landscape, executive staff felt that moving up the timeline to reach the $15 starting rate living wage was in order. In addition, staff wanted to have AFSCME adopt the pending changes to the administrative staff employee leave policy, as well as some other minor changes. The overall goal was to reward those who come to work and reduce options for those who do not come to work. Under the proposed changes, the starting rates of pay range from $15 to $16.50 for the 3 pay grades. Executive staff truly appreciates the leadership of the internal AFSCME officer, as well as those at Ohio Council 8, Local 101, who worked with RTA to come to agreement on the proposed changes in such a short period of time. The Chief Executive Officer recommends, and I hereby move, that the board accept changes to the negotiated agreement as presented, and that the Chief Executive Officer be authorized to do all things necessary to finalize, execute, implement, and administer this agreement. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Corrado. Motion has been properly made and seconded. Is there any more discussion, questions, or comments from members of the board? Hearing none, I will ask all board members in favor of the motion to please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries. New business item number 2, the collective bargaining agreement revision with AFSCME is hereby adopted and approved. Okay, that brings us to Chief Executive Officer's report. Mr. Rosinski.
Yep, just 2 things to report on. One of our requirements with the feds was to have a COVID mandate plan in place so that when the mandate is implemented and if it impacts RTA, we are ready to go. We have posted a driver's pick that moves us to an all-Saturday service 6 days a week and maintains current Sunday service. On the routes that don't have Saturday service currently, we would continue the Monday through Friday service on those routes. That will be implemented if and when the mandate becomes effective, which currently the date is January 4th, but I don't know that that date will hold. So that operator pick is out there. In addition, we've posted a maintenance pick that they would pick at such time when they would be required to based on the number of unvaccinated maintenance personnel. Those jobs would be put on hold as well. So I think we've met all our requirements with the feds. I want to give kudos to the union ATU leadership team who has worked very hard, about as hard as I've been working to get people vaccinated. Our current vaccination numbers as an agency are 86% overall. We're 91% admin. Our bus operators are up to 89% vaccinated now, and our maintenance people have creeped up to 68%. There is not a system in Ohio that I'm aware of that is even close to these numbers. So our incentives, our pushing, our education, it's all working. And we're not done. We're trying to get into the 90s. So at this point, I can't address when the service might be impacted, but we are ready to pull the trigger when we get the official word. And the current plan is January 4th, but again, I personally expect that date to be pushed back. And as soon as it is, I will let people know.
Great. And to borrow a football term, we're in the red zone. We're not over the goal line yet, but you and staff are to be congratulated for getting us this far. Those are great numbers on those vaccination rates. Next on the agenda is old business. I have none. Any other member of the board? Hearing none, then we're on to public comment. And let me find my notes. All right, anyone wishing to address the board must speak on his or her own behalf. After you are recognized to speak, please come to the lectern, or if you are unable, a handheld microphone will be brought to you. Please state your name and address. After doing so, you will then have 3 minutes to make your comments. When 30 seconds remain, a yellow light will come on, and when 3 minutes are up, a red light will come on, and you must cease speaking and leave the lectern or surrender the microphone. The first person to speak is Carol Anderson.
My name is Kara Anderson. I live at 1461
Henderson. I live at 1461 Cornell Drive, Dayton, Ohio, 45406.
I think you should,
I've been coming quite a while. This is pertaining to me. It's getting cold outside. Also, the ice is coming and the snow is coming. And I want you to please remember bus 65, 64, and 66. We're still waiting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. The next person is Lynette Dax. Day, I'm sorry, I misread it. My apologies. Lynette Day.
My name is Lynette Day. I live at 1465 West 3rd Street, Dayton, Ohio, apartment 118. I'm concerned about these bus tickets that we had got for the tap. What are we supposed to do with those tickets? We had tickets that we had before we got the tap pay. What are we supposed to do with those tickets? Throw them away or what? You gonna add the tickets to the tap pay? Do you understand what I'm saying? Those Project Mobility tickets.
Yeah, Ms.
We
Day,
still got those.
Ms. Day, public comment is made for comment. If you have questions, then you need to present those to staff. I can guarantee you that there's not a member of the board who answers in day-to-day operational questions. But what I would like you to do, Mr. Polachicchio is sitting right over there by the door. He's the person to ask about the tap pay and those questions after the public comment and the meeting are over. And I'm sure he'll be able to answer those questions for you. Thank you, Ms. Day. Next person is Mary Miller.
My name is Mary Miller. I live at 229 Colgate Avenue, Dayton 45417. The board meeting procedure is not to address old business. It's disregarding the order. It was meant to be an informed meeting order. Each time we come here, you tell us you hear us, but you never respond. You've gone into executive session, we've waited, you come back, and you still have not responded to the old business of the Easy Rider. We've brought that each meeting, and you still never listed it as old business. Just so you know, it is old business. And I would appreciate it if you could have put it on the agenda anytime as old business, new business, just address it so we have an answer. Because you keep telling us you hear us, and you just offend us that much more. The citizens of Dayton are looking at you. And they see by, us coming down here, we're not going away. Because as others have stated, the winter is coming, it's going to be ice. People are traveling to and from. But those that are elderly at the 36 complexes that Easy Riders serve are not being served. They now have to get out there and struggle with it on their own. And I hope that if any of them are injured in response to getting to the bus stops, that you take consideration on helping them with the medical bills. Because this will be something that comes up again and again. You stated you were short of drivers and hiring is impossible when your starting rate for CDL drivers is not meeting the lowest wage rate for CDL jobs in this region. Offer a livable wage to get better drivers, better union representatives to justify the union dues they're collecting to represent a city of an essential staple, because you guys are badly slipping. And I hate to think what it's going to look like in February. That pay is not usable on the 53 and 10 rides in order to receive the $25 stipend given from the government subsidy to be paid to RTA fares. And this requires cash only. And I'm pretty positive you said it would be no longer cash accepted after November 1st. But you don't have anyone on the Connect Transit Route 53 and 10 that doesn't pay a cash fee of $5. They can't pay with that pay. And I'd like to say, you know, you're contradicting yourself, but you're collecting government funds with your contradiction.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Miller. Again, I would recommend any tap pay questions be directed to Mr. Polachicchio.
Pay question was a cash pay question.
Oh, same thing. Okay. Let me put it this way, any fair questions as far as paying to get on the bus, please direct those to Mr. Polachicchio. Next person is Sandra Smothers.
Good afternoon. My name is Sandra Smothers. I live at 215 McDaniel Street, apartment 207, one of the 36 routes of the 64, 65, 66. Y'all took our bus from us. I told you you made a big mistake, and I'm gonna still say it. But here's the point. You say you need CDL drivers, Mr. Board President, well, you got 2 on the mobility side that used to drive the senior Easy Rider. Y'all took it off the mobility side, switched it over to the fixed route. So now you don't have no excuse, because you got 2 drivers out there can drive it that used to drive it. And we seniors are getting sick and tired of the bull crap. You telling us we got to wait 6 to 18 months? That's out. Y'all need to get with the program, because I see the handwriting on the wall. Y'all going down if y'all don't hurry up and get that bus back in service. We got people in the building can't walk out the door. They're in wheelchairs, want to ride the Easy Rider so they can get to the grocery store. But y'all not thinking about us. Y'all don't care about us seniors. But we care about ourselves. And Mr. Brzezinski, if you can't see what's going on here, then you need to clean out your desk and get out the seat.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Smothers. And the last speaker is Althea Asadullah.
Althea Asadullah, 2006 January Court, Rise, Ohio, 45427. I'd like to get to know I'm a child of God. And I'd like to also thank all the RTA drivers, fixed route and project mobility, that are concerned about my safety and get me to A and B at an appropriate time. But in consideration of those who are low graded, that do not get me to the door, that stop past the bus stop and then put me on the grass instead of on the cement, need customer service retraining skills that intimidate you when you get on the bus and don't talk to you when you say left or right, so that I don't sit on nobody or my dog is not interfering with anybody's personal space. The mistreatment of being disabled is ridiculous. If I want to ride the fixed right bus, I don't need somebody to tell me I'm a paratransit rider. I can't get a ride sometimes, so I ride the fixed bus. I just want to get home. I'm tired of getting forgotten about. I have been forgotten about in the cold, sitting 20 minutes, 40 minutes, and then you say you're going to send a supervisor to take me home. It's too late then. I have illnesses that I should not have to say out loud. The second thing, when you announce a caller coming down on a big bus, you should not say their disability. You can't say their disability on project mobility, therefore you shouldn't say it on the big bus. If you need an ambulatory person who needs to get to another route, or non-ambulatory, you do not need to say what my vision is, because now I'm getting mistreated by the staff that you work on this complex with and disrespectful attitudes. I earned this service. I went blind, and because I went blind and so before then, I know how to get around as much as I can. The buses don't talk at Wright Plaza. The bus speaker didn't work. The bus was supposed to stop at I and J. It stopped at H. They gave me a new D, didn't even know where the buses go. I had to tell them myself. Well, thank God I do know the routes. I can tell you where every bus stopped at, but I just can't get to it because it's not talking loud enough. I need the buses to work properly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Asadullah. I believe that's the last. I'm looking through my papers. I think we had 5, Mary, that had signed up? 5, okay. Again, I'd like to thank the members of the public who have taken time to come down and address the board. Next on the list are board member comments and/or announcements. I'll start to my left. Mr. Corrado, anything?
I have nothing.
I don't have anything today. Mr. Lumpkin?
Nothing from me today.
Ms. Hurd? Mr. Fullenkamp?
Only to wish everyone, because we probably not have another board meeting till January, wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, enjoy it, and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Ms. Hairston?
Ditto.
Ditto. Oh, very good. Okay. Reminder that the next joint committee meeting will be held December 21st, 2021, and the next board meeting will be held here on January 4, 2022. There being no further business to come before the board, is there any objection to the adjournment of this meeting? Hearing none, the chair declares this meeting adjourned.